Today in class we worked on volume. So I thought I would tape a lesson on volume. So the first thing that we did was we defined volume, and the volume of a three-dimensional figure is the number of non-overlapping unit cubes of a given size that will actually fit exactly into the interior of the figure. So we went over some formulas, and there are 5 in particular, and you have the sheet in front of you. So we have the formula of the volume of a cylinder is actually the area of the base. So B stands for the area of the base, and in this case the area of the base is a circle, area of the base, and times the height. So pi r squared times h. The next one is the rectangular prism, and we just have this in here in case you may need it. Again, the volume is the area of the base times the height, so volume is equal to length times width times height. And sometimes you're given like a square, and a square can be considered a rectangular prism, but length and width will be the same, or a cube can be, and the length and the width and the height will all be the same number, the same value. Sphere. Now, a sphere is just a rotated circle, and the volume of a sphere is 4 is equal to 4/3 pi r cubed. And we wrote this in class because this is how we put it into our calculator: 4 pi r cubed divided by 3. And then the next one that we had is cone, and cone again has a circular base, and it comes up to a point that is perpendicular up above the center of the circle. So the volume of a cone is the area of the base times the height, so it's pi r squared h, and it's divided by 3. And so we did take a look today and compare the volume of a cylinder to the volume of a cone, and we noticed that it takes 3 cones to make the cylinder with the same radius and height, or if I have a cone with the same radius and height as the cylinder, I just divide it by 3 to find that volume. And then the last one was the pyramid, and here you have to find the area of the base, which can be a triangle, can be a square, can be a rectangle. Area of the base times the height and divide it by 3. So the length times width times height is divided by 3. So the first thing we did was we did example A, or example 2A, and so every single time you should do this, you should write down which formula you are using. And it's a sphere, so I use the formula for a sphere. So volume is equal to 4 times pi, and then r cubed divided by 3. So I plug that into my calculator, and we gave answers in terms of pi, and we gave answers in terms, and rounded to the nearest hundredth. So if it's in terms of pi, I'm going to take 4, and then I'm going to multiply it by 9 cubed. So 9 cubed is actually 729. And then pi is going to be there like a variable in the end, and divide it by 3. And so 729 times 4, and then divided by 3. So it's 972 pi. And that's in terms of pi. So if I wanted to find the value of the volume, rounded to the nearest hundredth, I would just take 972 and multiply it by pi. And so that value, the volume, is 3053.63, and this is centimeters cubed. Okay, so that's one that deals with actually finding the volume of a figure. The next one, it says, what would the radius of a sphere be whose volume is 4,500 pi inches cubed? So again, it helps to go ahead and write the equation of the sphere, the volume of the sphere, and that's 4 pi r cubed divided by 3, and then plug in what you have. So 4,500 pi is equal to 4 pi r cubed divided by 3. And then you just have to use your mad algebra skills. So to isolate r. So in this case, I have to multiply both sides of the equation by 3, and that's equal to 13,500 pi, and that you are able to divide out the 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so it's equal to 4 pi r cubed. Now in this case, I want to undo multiplying by 4 pi, and so I divide both sides by 4 pi, and I'm left with 3,375 is equal to r cubed. Now in this case, I have to take the cube root of r cubed to undo it. So we learned how to use our calculator today, and I take the cube root, and on these particular calculators that most of you guys have, you press 3, press clear first, 3, and then second the caret. So then it tells me that my x value here is third, so I'm taking the third root and punch in the numbers, and then your answer is 15. So here the radius is 15 inches. So that's kind of how you do these problems. One more problem that I'd like to do is from the homework that you are to do tonight, and that looks like this right here. So looking at number 1, and the reason I wanted to look at this and the reason that this is different is because I'm given the slant height here. I'm actually given the slant height of this pyramid versus the height of the pyramid. I actually need the height. This is h. So from the center of that square up to the point. So here it says the volume of a rectangular square pyramid. So it says find it. So volume is equal to length times width times height divided by 3. And here it's a square, so my length and width are 16, but I don't know what my height is yet. So I have to use the Pythagorean theorem to solve for what the height is. Now I know this is 17, I know my base here is 8, okay, but I do not know what the height of my triangle is. So I have to say question mark squared plus 8 squared is equal to 17 squared, and you find out that 17 squared is going to be 289, and I subtract 64 from that, and I'm left with 225. And then I take the square root of it, and so I know that my height is going to be 15. So then I go back up here and I plug in 15, and so it's 16 times 16 times 15 and divided by 3. So my answer is 1,280, and that would be inches cubed. So you kind of do that the same way. You have to be careful. Am I solving for the slant? Am I given the slant height, or am I given the height actually of the pyramid or the cone? So number 2 you're going to have to do in a very similar manner to number 1. And then number 3, you're going to have to deal with the same thing, but you're given the area of the base here. So make sure you are doing that one correctly. Number 4 talks about the relationship between cylinders and cones with the same radius and the same height. You can rewind the video to kind of help you with that one. And so then you were to complete the rest of this page. So I will see you tomorrow in class.